Northerly, a bare-knuckle champion pounding on Legend's door. There's the Arab Sheikh's Grandira, rated the best 2,000-metre racehorse in the world. The Flying Fields of Omar, the brilliant Bel Esprit and Defier. There's Gay, a champion for the ages, the Northern Hemisphere's best jockey, and a pretty handy mob of our own. Tens of thousands of people have been charmed to the valley to say goodbye to Sunline in the Champions Race. The Carlton Draft Cox Plate, on 7 today in sporting law forever.
We welcome viewers in New South Wales and Queensland to a telecast of Moonee Valley Carlton Draft Cox Plate Day. Massive crowd here. It was said during the week if they get to 42,000, which would be the biggest crowd we've had for many, many years, and they will close the gates of the valley. We've been very lucky with the weather so far today. It's plenty of blue skies, and quite frankly, it's a lot better than we expected with the forecast. So we're going for 16 degrees today. At the moment, around about 13. Maybe a shower, but it's hard to see it right now. There are plenty of fresh winds, and because of those fresh winds, the track has been upgraded. It started today being dead in the first race on the program, but straight after the first, upgraded to good. The penetrometer at 4.61. Last year, it was at 4.8. The rail is in the true position. Max Presnell with me. Max, one of the surprises so far today, in the early totes for the Carlton Draft Cox Plate, Sunline was at $5.
Yes, I did find that rather surprising too, Bruce, because Sunline has normally got massive public support. It keeps her under the odds, perhaps on the totes, and the bookmakers profit by this by betting pretty short, but they're going to have to get her out now.
Speaking of support, we've got a tremendous supporting program today. The AAMI Vase is the next on the program. It's thrown up more than one good horse over the years and a couple of Derby winners, and we've got Helena's here. The Schweppes Stakes, the best sprinters in the land, Favalon, Mystique and Spinning Hill. The Grosby Gold Cup. Rain Gauge, could he win for the second time? It'll be the first time a horse has done that since 1946. Then the Carlton Draft Cox Plate, the cornerstone, the race for the greatest horses. Then the Carlton Draft Tesio Stakes for the mares, and the Waterford Crystal Mile headed up by Accelerator. Correct weight on race 3 today. Let's check the final dividends.
Number 3, Dexterous, 440 and 170, 6 Unzipped, 170, and 1 Antique, 140. Quinella, 1380. Trifecta, $47, and the Exacta, $24.90.
To the 4th race on the program, the AAMI Vase. One scratching here, Roehampton. Let's look at the field.
Number 1, Helena's, Stephen King. 3, Wildheart, Darren Gauci. 4, Serpentire, Danny Nikolic. 5, Grand Lover, Nashra Willer. 6, Victory Vane, Danny Beasley. 7, Macedon Lady, Damien Oliver. And 8, Shalang, Corey Brown.
On a day of wide betting, there was one short price favourite this morning. It was Helena's. Is he in the red? Odds on, Greg Radley.
Opened up very short, in fact a ridiculous $1.50. He's getting out now, he's getting closer to $1.80 now, Helena's, and the two fillies are the only other ones in the market. Macedon Lady is at about $4.20 and Victory Vane at $4.60, but Helena's just creeping closer to the even money quote.
Let's see what he's showing on the tote.
Number 1, Helena's, 150. 3, Wildheart, 25.70. 4, Serpentire, 12.10. 5, Grand Lover, 63.20. 6, Victory Vane, 5.50. 7, Macedon Lady, 5.40. And 8, Shalang, $30.10.
Our expert bookmaker Graham Sampiri selecting Helena's in the AAMI Vase. Do you agree, Max?
Oh yes, Helena's a very promising type. Won the Caulfield Guineas in good style. Has won at Moonee Valley. Lot to like about him. A lot apart from the short odds.
So Helena's for both Max and Graham. Well, Sunline was $5 the last time we looked. Let's see what they're paying now with still plenty of time to go until the Carlton Draft Cox Plate.
Number 1, Northerly, 3.30. 2, Assertive Lad, 21.30. 3, Grandira, $10. 4, Defier, 11.30. 5, Fields of Omar, 10.70. 6, Lonro, 4.40. 7, Eustonov, 28.20. 8, Sunline, 5.10. 9, Bel Esprit, 11.20.
13 horses have won the Eliza Stakes and the Cox Plate in the 1 year. 2 of the last 4. It should be a terrific guide. It was a terrific race.
Set now for the Yalumba. Sunline, gate number 1. Smallfield, Signal Racing. Sunline bounced brilliantly down on the inside. She bounced 2 lengths in front here of Republic Lass and Distinctly Secret. Up on the outside is Lonrose, going to be handy around that first turn from Euston off deep. Tully Thunder went back on the inside of Prize Gem. But the Grand Mare went out to the back of the straight and led by a length and a half with the 1600 metre mark Sunline. Lonro at second. And there's Euston off going around the outside. It's going to be up outside Sunline going up to the 1500. Sunline 2 in front of Euston off. And Lonro is third on the fence. 2 to Distinctly Secret, a length and a half Republic Lass. 1 to Tully Thunder and 3/4 Prize Gem last of all. Up the back they've gone to the 1400 metre mark and Sunline held together here by Charles. She's got a lead about a length and a half to Euston off. 2 lengths further back Lonro. She puts a little speed into the race now at the 1200. She goes over the back of the hill. Sunline a length and a half Euston off and they got out 3 lengths in front of Lonro. 4 lengths Distinctly Secret. 1 for the back Tully Thunder as they start to spread out now from Republic Lass and last of all Prize Gem. 15 lengths first to last and she's starting to carve out some time at the 1000. Sunline by 2, Euston off. 3 for the back Lonro. 5 for the back Distinctly Secret. 2 Tully Thunder. 2 then Republic Lass and Prize Gem. 750 out and Sunline sailing by 2 to Euston off being niggled at. 2 for the back Lonro. He's about 4 lengths off the mare. 6 lengths Distinctly Secret, who's under the whip at the moment. Further back then came Republic Lass. Inside the 600, Sunline a length and a half. Euston off that rider on the second horse Busy. 2 then to Lonro. Beedman starting to move now. 4 lengths further back in the race and Distinctly Secret. But the grand old lady's going to turn for home. Sunline, she's by 3 lengths and going for home. Lonro into second is starting to chase hard. Then Euston off at the 300 metre mark and Sunline, she's by 2.5. Lonro trying to pick it back is starting to come out after Sunline. Sunline a half in front. Lonro on the outside looming up. Lonro, Sunline, Lonro levelling up and Lonro a neck on the line. Sunline a mighty race. 5 lengths away, third Euston off. Then Republic Lass followed by Prize Gem. A gap Distinctly Secret and Tully Thunder is last of all.
It has been a wonderful guide. It's the race that Northerly won, Might and Power. Kingston Town won 2 Yolumbas before his Cox Plate. It seems to be the definitive guide.
Yes, there's no doubt about that, and it just goes to show the fighting qualities of Sunline. By gee, she will not lay down, this mare.
Well, she's out to $5.10 now, which is remarkable, with Northerly at $3.30 and Lonro in the $4. But Max, the wild card remains to be a Grandira. Nobody knows quite how good he is. We're about to find out today, that's for sure. Frankie Dettori's got a busy day here at Moonee Valley with Spinning Hill and Atlanta Sprints as well. He's with Peter Donegan.
Always a pleasure to have the international guests at the Carlton Draft Cox Plate. None better, none bigger than Frankie Dettori. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too.
We always see each other around about this time. I think, what is this, the 9th visit now to Melbourne?
I think so, yeah. I'm soon be getting an Australian passport to carry on coming.
You might get an Australian accent.
Yes.
What did you make of the track the other night? You had a look around here on Thursday night.
Yeah, the rail was 7 metres out, so it's going to be a completely different track today. Now that the rail is true, I think he ride better, you know.
What sort of horse is Grandira? We've heard a lot about him. He's obviously a quality horse, but is the big crowd, is the big atmosphere going to be a concern?
Well, I hope that it would actually help him, because it's a horse that is a little bit like a fighter, you know. He needs the crowd to get him G'd up. So, you know, he's a different horse. He's really, he's got lots of great qualities, but he's different, and I hope that today we'll see the real Grandira.
We're really looking forward to seeing him in action, and we're looking forward to seeing you back in action too. Frankie, good luck. Thanks for your time.
It'll be a great race, and I'm sure whatever wins deserves to be a champion.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
He is a wonderful personality. There's a question about that. Sunline's just arriving at the course, Max. We saw Northerly earlier. There's Claire Bird, her strapper. So for the final time, she's done it 47 starts prior to this, so for the final time she arrives at a place she knows so well.
Looks nice and bright and alert, and they've got a right for a farewell.
What a fitting farewell. I read during the week, and it was appropriate, that a lot of horses just get a gallop up the straight after they've been injured to say goodbye. She's going to be right in the centre of the ring when she's saying goodbye today, isn't she?
Right in the centre of the ring, and not taking a compulsory count either. She'll be going right to the line, and that's one of her great attributes. It's a fighting quality. She just does not give in.
Test for Frankie Dettori, do you think, today?
Very much so. Frankie Dettori is like a lot of European horses. He hasn't brought his European form to Australia. Moonee Valley, tight tactical battle like this. Yes, it's a test for Frankie. Frankie's got to stand up and be counted today as the world's best jockey. He's got to shine.
Well, if he wins, how sweet that victory will be today on Grandira. So many offerings during this spring, and here's one from the Australian Racing Museum.
2002 Australia's Racing Champions. This magnificent print features 3 of Australasia's greatest modern thoroughbreds. Ethereal, the shining star of last spring, winner of an unforgettable Cup stubble. Northerly, the fighting tiger from the west. And the incomparable Sunline, the greatest mare to have raced on Australian soil. Each of these 500 limited edition prints has been personally signed by equine artist Alistair Simpson. This wonderful piece of racing memorabilia is priced at $395. To order, you can phone 1800 889 992 or purchase online at www.sportswatch.com.au.
And one of those 3 great horses has just arrived, Sunline. Now, Fields of Omar has also arrived in Moonee Valley. Wonderful second last week behind Northerly. Meets him 4.5 kilos worse today at the weight for age conditions.
Yes, but Fields of Omar, you don't want to take anything away from Northerly's Caulfield Cup win, but Fields of Omar did strike a little bit of trouble, didn't have the best of runs, not savagely checked or anything along those lines, and didn't have the pace. With more pace on, perhaps he would have done better. But then again, you don't know what Northerly would have done because he is an outstanding racehorse and rises to the occasion.
So Damien Oliver, the jockey there. Damien Oliver's had a very good record in the AAMI Vase over the years. Horses are in the mounting yard. Enormous interest on Helenas. He's won the Stud Stakes, the Group 2 race here over 1600 at Moonee Valley, and then won the Caulfield Guineas, the classic race, a fortnight ago where he beat Bel Esprit. And we've heard that Platinum Scissors has been heavily backed for the Melbourne Cup. This is the other favourite for the Victoria Derby.
Yes, and certainly he's a worthy co-favourite too. His Caulfield Guineas win was excellent. A little of the gloss was taken off it because Bel Esprit was unlucky. But I don't know. I thought it was a very worthy performance of Helenas.
All the money's for Helenas in the ring. They don't want the fillies at this stage. He's a good type, isn't he? There's a lot of the European about him. His sire Alessio bolted an Arc de Triomphe in, and he's got that fine line about him. And today he steps up to the 2040, the same distance as the Cox Plate, and you'd expect. Number 2 is Scratch. Here's 3 Wild Heart. Not a bad win at Flemington last to first.
Yes, and Wild Heart is worthy of consideration, but I just don't think there was quite the depth of that form that you see with Helenas. $27.80 though. I suppose, you know, greater surprises have happened.
Number 4, Serpentire, was scratched at Geelong during the week. Now, second at Flemington behind Wild Heart. Goes well at the Valley. It's had 2 starts here for win and a second.
And you've got to take into consideration that he's only had 5 starts, so he's on an upward spiral. Looks lean and fit, and certainly will have no trouble with the journey.
Grand Love is interesting. He came down as the rank outsider in the Caulfield Guineas. Didn't run a bad race. He ran 9th on that occasion. The week before, he'd run 9th at Doomben. His only winners on the Sunshine Coast over 1,000 metres in September. It's by Grand Lodge, same sire as Grandira. He has a lot of potential, I think, but he's at big odds.
Yes, $68.90 on Super Tab, and I would say that's his correct price, but he does look well.
Victory Vane, 16 starts, 11 wins, 3 placings, $1.8 million in prize money. She won the Size and the Champagne as a 2-year-old, second in the Golden Slipper. This time in won the Silver Shadow, the Furious, the T-Rose. Beaten long odds on in the flight. Bad Barrier came home for 7th in the 1,000 guineas.
She's not what you'd call a robust filly, and interesting to recall that about 3 weeks ago she was being given a chance in the Cox Plate. You've got to wonder about how she will handle the 2,040 metres, but she's a good filly. She's handled the Kensington track at Randwick, so she should be comfortable on the Strath there at Moonee Valley. Worth watching. I can't get really enthusiastic about her, though, to beat Helenas.
7 Macedon Lady. You see Damien Oliver about to mount up. He's already won the race on Gold Guru and Naturalism in the past. Won the 1,000 guineas, the fillies equivalent of the Caulfield Guineas. Has won 4 of her last 5. She worked with Bel Esprit during the week here at Moonee Valley. Hasn't raced here, but her sire Thalonte was second in 2 Cox Plates. I'm not sure if that helps her or not, but she is very progressive, this filly, like Helena's the colt.
Yes, well, unlike Victory Vane, who's had 16 starts, Macedon Lady has had only 7, so you would expect her to get better. I thought a workmanlike performance to win the 1,000 guineas last start. I just wonder how she'll handle the tough 2,040 metres here. But then again, it mightn't be all that tough, and who knows? She could surprise. But it hasn't been a good race for fillies.
Shalang, the other filly here, third at Canterbury, when a short price favourite, $2.40 favourite. Before that was very impressive in running third on the big track in the Dulcify. Maybe a big track horse, another one of the Oaks chances for John Hawkes.
Yes, and I think she's a staying horse. I think she'll be very comfortable with the distance. I think she'll give an indication today whether she's got the class to go on and be an Oaks prospect.
Good line-up, but the glamour horse, without any doubt, is number 1, Helena's. Leon Corsons was jumping for joy after the Caulfield Guineas. Well, today, it's business again before the races with Peter Donegan.
He may be jumping for joy in another 10 minutes or so. Leon, he looks magnificent in the yard. He's obviously gone on since Caulfield.
Yeah, he's done a great job since the race. I think that he looks, you know, he just looks more mature each time he goes out. So, you know, I'm very pleased with the horse.
And with the shadow roll on, he's got that European look about him, hasn't he?
When he goes to the post, he really looks like one of those European horses.
Yeah, he sticks his head out. He knows where the line is.
He certainly does do that, yep.
Now, you don't want a gutbuster for him today. It'd be nice to have a nice, comfortable win, but you don't want him to work too hard going into the Derby.
Oh, I take each race as it comes. I still like winning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a comfortable win would be preferable?
Yeah, well, any win's good.
He's short odds in the ring. How's your confidence level going into the race?
Yeah, well, I think, to me, to have a show against Gay's horse in the Derby, I think he'd nearly have to win today.
And just finally, Platinum Scissors, how good is he?
Well, I don't know how good he is. I know how good mine is, so, but I won't do any comparison.
Best of luck, mate.
Thanks very much, Pete.
Leon Corson's the trainer of that horse, Helena's, as he makes his way onto the track for the AAMI Vase, $135,000 race, Group 2. Later today, they're racing for $3 million from the same barrier, and one horse with a real chance is Defier.
He's got a great chance. My God, I'm really happy with him. His form into the race has been terrific. He's beaten Lonro twice, and he beat Sunlight in the George Main Stakes. So, you know, his form going into the Cox Plate is first class. Sunlight, she showed that she's back to her true form the other day in the Alumba, and Northerly was outstanding in the Caulfield Cup. So obviously on form, they're the two to beat.
It's a famous start, isn't it? The top of the Moonee Valley Straight, the 2,040 metre start for the Carlton Draft Cox Plate today, and prior to that, this race, the AAMI Vase. Helena's was on the go a bit on the way to the barrier, on the toe, and John Letts, how does he look to you?
He was a little bit, Bruce, but he's settled down now. He's got an attendant with him, and one of the strappers is handling him. He's settled down beautifully. He's a lovely horse. He races in a shadow roll or nose roll, just over the front of his head, and that's what they use. A lot of the horses overseas use them, Bruce. Actually, the winner on Wednesday, Media Puzzle, races in one of those shadow rolls, and this horse is in him, but he looks magnificent, in condition. Leon Corson's done a wonderful job with him. The filly, Macedon Lady, well, she looks very well too, but looking at difference in size, she's only a little pony alongside him, but he looks magnificent. If he wins today, Bruce, he's going to be a very short price in the Derby. And also Macedon Lady, she looks very well. If she runs seconds or happens to beat him, she's going to run very short in the Oaks. But it looks a two-horse war. He's a little bit stroppy at the gate. He was a little bit the other day. They've got 4 or 5 attendants on him, but these boys will get him in pretty quickly. He's going into the gate now. Helena's, he goes in, yes, he's locked away. He's quite happy. I think he'll have a lovely run from barrier 1.
If there's a query about Helena's, it's just got to be that maturity factor, and he shows that. But nevertheless, he should be learning by it all the time. But just watching him go to the barrier, that maturity point, it does come to light.
He's rock solid in the ring. The late money's for Victory Vane. Victory Vane has been back late in this race. All these horses, the 7 of them, have an entry for either the Derby or the Oaks. So Macedon Lady, arguably the Oaks favourite. Helena's sharing favouritism for the Derby with Platinum Scissors. Up comes Victory Vane. I mean, the choices for her are either Spell or the big mile race for fillies and mares on Derby Day, or maybe Press On for the Oaks.
Interesting to see the tactics on Victory Vane. Of course, she's got the pace to lead. dictate the terms.
So what will they do there, and will there be any pace at all in this race? So Serpentire and Wild Heart are behind the line. Helenas has gone in with Macedon Lady and Victory Vane. So let's join Brian Martin for the AAMI Vase.
Serpentire's gone in, Grand Lover is ready, Helenas in gate 4, Macedon Lady 2. Schweppes the inside, Serpentire is set now, Victory Vane in gate number 3. At the top of the straight here as we wait on Wild Heart to come up. 7 to run, a bit of movement there. Locked away. A couple of the riders calling out. Macedon Lady tried to burrow down, and Helenas wants to lay against the side of the gate. Straighten up again. Macedon Lady very fractious. She jumped only fairly, Macedon Lady, and one of the best out was Grand Lover out towards the middle with Wild Heart. They left the gate quickly. Schweppes behind them, and they're followed further out on the track by Helenas. It's up midfield, just on 3rd and 4th early, followed by Victory Vane. Grand Lover just led. Helenas Auger was over racing. Macedon Lady got into trouble and may have brushed the rail. A bit of interference there. And Grand Lover took it up from Wild Heart, and further back in the race in Victory Vane. Helenas is settling better now, 4th, about a length away. 2 lengths to Macedon Lady. She's recovered okay, and further back Serpentire and Schweppes on the inside of the 1,500 metre mark. And the leader is Grand Lover with a good speed in front. Led out by 2.5 to 3 lengths now from Wild Heart. 2 further back Victory Vane. A couple of lengths then to the favourite Helenas, running 4th, about 5 or 6 off the lead. A length behind it would have been Macedon Lady, 1.5 then Schweppes and Serpentire last of all. Grand Lover with a big lead into the back straight at the 1,200 metre mark, and it's gone out about 6 lengths in front from Wild Heart 2 to Victory Vane. A length and a half Helenas at the 1,000 metre mark 4th. Going around them now Serpentire from Macedon Lady, and 2 to Schweppes last of all. Down the back, and the leader is Grand Lover, about 5 or 6 lengths in front from Wild Heart, and they're followed by Victory Vane. The inside Helenas is running 4th, a length and a half Serpentire. Macedon Lady a half away the rail, and 2 to Schweppes. Leader coming back Grand Lover at the 800 metre turn, about 2.5 lengths in front of Wild Heart. A length then Victory Vane, a length further back then Helenas has enjoyed a good run 4th. They're followed 5th by Serpentire, a length then on the inside Macedon Lady, 1.5 then Schweppes. At the 500 metre mark, Grand Lover 1.5 in front of Wild Heart. He shakes up Helenas to try and come away from the rail. He's about to get out on Helenas now, and it raced up on the inside when Grand Lover left the fence, and going up on the inside Helenas took the lead. Got there early now. Grand Lover is gone. Then came Wild Heart, Macedon Lady after Helenas when they turned for home. Helenas is going to straighten and kick by 2. Macedon Lady into the clear. They're clear of Wild Heart. It's the colt and the filly drawing away. It's Helenas a half in front. Macedon Lady trying to peg it back. Helenas the leader. Macedon Lady trying to reach Helenas. Helenas is too good, and the colt Helenas wins on the line. About a half length Macedon Lady. A great battle. They got about 5 lengths in front of Wild Heart or Serpentire for 3rd. Not much in it. Then came the outside Schweppes. A long gap from the race to Grand Lover, and dropping off was Victory Vane.
Well, what a race. It turned out to be really interesting, didn't it? Helenas and also Macedon Lady, the 2 favourites for the Derby and the Oaks respectively. They had a battle in the straight. Took a long, long time to settle down this horse, as he did 2 starts ago in the Stud Stakes at this track. Showed a lot of courage. It was a very good ride by Stephen King. He'd won this race back in 1990. Now 3rd has gone to Wild Heart, so it's 1, 7 and 3. Victory Vane missing a place. She'll probably go to the paddock, you'd think. But Macedon Lady has lost nothing at all from an Oaks point of view, that's for sure. Helenas leads into the straight. Macedon Lady, they're the 2 you should be watching. They're the only 2 real guides for the race. But Helenas straightens up. Macedon Lady comes to the outside. Remember, these 2 horses won the Classics at Caulfield, the Caulfield Guineas for the Colts, Helenas, and the 1,000 Guineas for the fillies. They've both hit the line well. They've put a space in the others. Helenas with that stretched out neck. But Macedon Lady's lost nothing, I think, from an Oaks point of view.
No doubt about that, but rarely do you see a horse win after reacting as Helenas did in the early stages and middle stages of the race. The way he threw his head about, his greenness, his inexperience, and to still come on and win, well, it was a handy effort. But I tell you what, he can't make those sort of mistakes and beat Platinum Scissors in the Victoria Derby.
No 3rd dividend there with the scratching of Roe Hart, and so 1.73, the time's 2.3.5, and the sectional's not all that flash. They've come home in 13. Right now, who's favourite for the Derby? Is it Platinum Scissors or Helenas?
Well, in my book, it's Platinum Scissors. Certainly, the raw ability there is with Helenas, but I just don't know whether Leon Corstens can harness it in time for the for next Saturday's Derby.
2.8 actually the time, 2.8 the time. So Helenas comes back, a terrific win. Stephen King, the jockey, and he's been successful in the AAMI Vase. Later today, it's a big day for Sunlight, isn't it? And she's being a patient mare, as she's been waiting in her stall today. But terrific win for Helenas over Macedon Lady, but there were a hiccup or two on the way. We'll be back with correct weight or otherwise and the final dividends after the AAMI Vase today, where the Derby horse beat the Oaks Trot. We welcome viewers through South Australia to our telecast of Carlton Draft Cox Plate Day. You're looking at Helenas, who's just won the AAMI Vase by about 3/4 of a length from Macedon Lady, and a large gap then to Wild Heart in third placing. So one of the Derby favourites, the equal favourite, has won, and the Oaks favourite has run second. Max Presnell with me again. You were saying before the break, Max, that you felt the Platinum Scissors after that run of Helenas would probably be favourite for the Derby.
Oh, yes. Macedon, I thought the runner-up too. She ran a good race under the circumstances, got into a few little hiccups early. But certainly it was a slowly run race, and those horses did not adapt to it well.
Repeating the news earlier that Michael Iskander took a bet today, $10,000 each way on Platinum Scissors at 20 to 1 to win the Melbourne Cup. Leon Corson's the trainer of Helenas with Peter Donegan.
Leon, that was a really good staying performance with the pace being on in the middle of the race.
That was a good gutsy run. I think Steve had to go a little bit earlier than he'd wanted to. The run presented itself, so he had to get going. And I reckon that he beat a very, very good filly. I think I said over the wireless this morning that she's one of the best fillies I've seen around for a little while.
We may very well have seen the Derby winner and the Oaks winner together there.
Yeah, well, I think the Oaks winner, the Derby winner, we'll wait and see.
Now, you can get a smile on your face because Damien Oliver's been looking at the tape, the crowding that went on the turnout of the straight, but correct weight's come through, so it's now official.
Terrific.
Give us a smile. Perfect going into the Derby, though.
Oh, look, I couldn't be happy with the horse. He's done everything right. I think mentally he still does a few little things wrong during the race and that. But look, he'll get it all together, and look, he'll make a really nice weight for 8 horse next time round, Pete.
And one last question, Leon. He got his head up a little bit in the early stages today, but then he settled beautifully.
Yeah, well, that's a little trait of his, you know. I'm sure with the more racing that he does, the better he'll get.
I have a feeling I might be talking to you next Saturday at Flemington.
I hope to be here next year when the Cox Plate is on.
Leon Corstens, well done.
Thanks, mate.
Gee, optimistic. Good on you, Leon. Why not? It's terrific form that Helenas will carry into the Derby. And what about next year? Here are the final dividends.
Number 1, Helenas, 160 and 120. 7, Macedon Lady, 180. And no third dividend for 3, Wild Heart. The Quinella, 210. Trifecta, 23.10. And the Exacta, $2.40.
Race 5 today, the Schweppes Stakes, the best sprinters in the land with $150,000. Here's the lineup.
Number 1, Falvalon, Damien Oliver. 2, Mystegic, Glenn Boss. 3, Century Kid, Greg Childs. 4, Bomber Bill, Stephen Arnold. 5, Phoenix Park, Jim Cassidy. And 7, Spinning Hill, Frankie Dettori.
Falvalon was the favourite this morning over Mystegic, and Spinning Hill, despite the fact she'd beaten the two of them last up, was third favourite. Greg Radley, who's opened up favourite in the ring?
Best price here for Falvalon is $2.30, about $2.30 for Falvalon. Then we get out to $3 for Mystegic, and then about $3.50 for Spinning Hill. Will the Aussie punters